Good morning and welcome back. Mrs. Meenala Satyamurthy from Ekcel Academy with you to take you through this class. Yes, I start off this class by again informing you that please join the Excel crash course which has been organized for you, and the link is available in the description. Do not wait. Make the best use of the opportunity available at your hand with the click of a button, and please utilize it to the maximum extent so that you are ensured of maximum efficiency with maximum output. So moving on, as we said yesterday, so today I shall be doing a comprehension passage and some business information. And let's see how this goes on today and tomorrow. Probably from next week, I should take the mock test papers and the papers which I prepare on so that it'll be a practice. Anything left out, you could always tell me. Yes. The comprehension passage has been dealt with you quite extensively. Variety of comprehension passage has been given to you, and you've been asked to answer them too. You've been taught how to scan the question first and go back to the passage. So this is India losing grain crops every year because of pests, and increased production made possible by modern technology. Agriculture research would be more evident in case the pests and have been combated, and some of the crops are destroyed after harvesting. A large of them is destroyed in the fields, so he's better able to combat this, for he's made himself available to better storing facilities and modern chemical aid. But not all insects are harmful. Everything has an exception. The common earthworm is a friend of man, works like a dustman, breaking the dead leaves and roots from his plants and mixes with the soil, making the soil better. So not only that, imagine the saddest state when a farmer sprays his field with chemicals, he kills even his friend, the earthworm. How sad it is. But yes, that's life. So a large part of the increased food production is lost because of the lack. So it was very clear here. A large quantity of the grain is lost, destroyed in the field. So this is because of the various pests and insects. That is why this has been highlighted. The destruction caused by the insects and the harmful insects. The function of the insecticide is to protect the growing crop, to nourish, to harvest, to store, definitely to protect the growing crop. When the farmer sprays his field with chemicals that kill insect, he kills good as well as bad insect. He doesn't realize. The common earthworm, greatest destroyer, reduces the grain to dust, breaks up the leaves, makes the soil more fertile. After harvesting, what the farmer needs is definitely a good place for storage. A very simple passage that is from your own textbook, so dealt with it. So remember, it's been made very simple. So we have been able to scan the questions and get back. This I made it simpler. Now, the next thing that I actually want to deal with you is something regarding your what is known as the business communication or the business letter, because ample questions have been asked on it. Now, yesterday, what all I did, if at all you recapitulate, it is communication is vertical and horizontal, and the patterns of communication, which I had taught you. And then I had taught you there are 7 C's also, the modes of communication. What does the mode of communication depend upon? Then I had even taught you the flow of communication, and all this have been asked in the MCQ. So I was glad that I had touched these parts for you, because it's essential that you know. Now I move further. We all are aware, rather we all know how to write an email. It's become a common part and parcel of our lives. Unlike our days when postcard was the most accepted poor man's need, and he used to write 1 rupee. Initially it was 50 paisa, but now email has come into effect. Now, email is nothing but very cheap, very quick, proofed document, and can be sent immediately without waiting, and the information is conveyed in the proper manner. So it is the cheapest and the quickest means of sending information. Now, when we send email information, what happens here is you should take care. If you go to a letter writing, you have this from, to, and all that. Now, you don't have to worry because the sender is already mentioned there. Date is already mentioned there. We start with the to. So email always starts with the to. Now, when you have the to, naturally, you know how to write the address being those students. So I don't have to explain that. Now, when you start the to, after this, you have CC and BCC. CC is nothing but carbon copy. BCC is blind carbon copy. So 2 is the main person who will take the action. CC you are sending so that you keep this person in the loop. BCC you're sending so that he is aware of what is happening. For example, you have to write an email to Mr. Alok. Yes. So you are sending it to Mr. Alok because he's the main person. Now you are sending a CC to his secretary because she has to be known. Now the BCC, probably you're even sending it to me. I may be aware, the secretary may be aware, but the main person to take action will be Mr. Alok only. So this is how you divide this sort of email. The email also, and then you have what is known as subject line. Remember, this should be short and concise, to the point. It is not like writing another mini paragraph. It's not like writing another mini paragraph. And then you also greet, and then comes your body, and then comes your close. Here for you, it says, even if you don't write yours sincerely, it's fine. You just write the name, regards name, or even if the regards is not there, it's fine. It's fine, okay. But remember, when you are writing this body part, it should have all the 3 parts that you greet, and the main part, and the conclusion. Now, this main part should have clarity, should also be concise, okay, should also be concrete, and must be relevant. Answer to what is necessary. Answer to what is needed. So this is the main thing of the email. So this you will remember. Now you also have something like okay, the do's and don'ts of email. So when you have the do's and don'ts of email, so you will have to see to it. Okay, here you have what is known as the do's. Here you have the don'ts. Now this can be asked for you, so as a question, so please note it down. Now the paragraph should be short, crisp, and focused. Definitely, these are certain points that you should use. No slangs, no abbreviations, no acronyms, unless and until it is essential, not needed at all. Short, simple sentences. Short, simple sentences you are used. Always adopt the you attitude, he says, while writing an email. Do not adopt the I, me, mine sparsely. I, me, mine should be used very sparsely. I, me, mine indicates being selfish. Sir, you should have. Sir, you could do this. You could do that. We could do this. Don't say I should do this unless not least only you applying for leave, and then things are fine. But otherwise, please adopt the you attitude, not the I, me, mine attitude. Short, simple sentence. Remember here, no abbreviations. No abbreviations. Abbreviations are not acceptable at all. Abbreviations are not acceptable at all. So please remember that you are not going to use. And another most important thing, yeah, I have to tell you this. Please take care that you do not write in blocks like this. This is not acceptable. So you just write like this. Always remember, where capital letters needed, there you use. Where it is not needed, please do not use. And also be gender sensitive. Please be gender sensitive. So use appropriate formal language. That is very, very true. And definitely correct, structurally correct, grammatically correct sentences to be used. So no block letters, and remain gender sensitive so that your email is actually this thing. And above all, please reply after sending the email, getting the email. And when you reply, you want to continue, please pull down the whole thing and add one more sentence. I think you can. You may not be so lazy enough just to send the email like this. Thank you, forwarded. No, add one sentence that you received and you're replying in the same ID. So just add one more sentence and send it. That you should take care. Now, these emails are known as electronic mails. It was there quite some time, and so we are now extensively using it for every little thing. But it's a documented proof so that it is there with you throughout the year, no matter what happens. So that is about basic thing about emails. Yes. Now, if this is the basic thing about emails, I just wanted to tell you something about this part also, because again, questions are asked. So, and remember, please, after writing the whole email, write the to address, and that too all in small letters, because you may write the to address and by mistake you write send, then a blank mail goes, which is definitely considered to be obnoxious and not acceptable at all. Or by chance you're typing something, all of a sudden you get caps lock, this thing got touched upon by your fingers and you type. So be careful, very careful. Type the to address always at the end, so that you are sure of what you're doing, to read and reread and revise, especially what you have done. So That is the thing. And moreover, it is very important for you because you will be dealing with dates, time, year much more frequently than what we do for our small work at home. You'll be doing it much more. So please write to address in the end. At least it will go get saved in the draft. It won't reach anyone. By chance, you in an anger, you responded to the email. What will happen is it will just leave there. But if it goes back to the person concerned, you will be cutting a sorry figure. So please remember that. Now you have what is known as this HTTP. You have :/www. Okay, indiatoday.com. Now this HTTP, this does what work? This lets the browser now that it is looking for a web page. It is looking for a web page. This www indicates that the page is on the internet, indicates that the page is on the World Wide Web. Now, the other one is, which I said, indiatoday.com is India Today is the domain name. They have a domain name. This is called the domain name, and .com is called the type. Yeah, com, org, in, net, gov, all this you have. So remember, HTTP has been asked. That's why I did it. It lets the person know that he has that that it is on the web page. www indicates please open the web page. Now India Today is the domain. .com is the search engine. Literally the domain type. Literally the domain type. So this is very, very important. This is very, very important. You can be asked as an MCQ. HTTP indicates dash. So since it's MCQ, you are going to be very lucky because in MCQs, you at least have a choice to choose from. So please note that you have a choice. So HTTP indicates or lets the browser know that what he's looking in a web page. And then www indicates the page is located on the World Wide Web. Now India Today indicates domain, com indicates the type of domain. If I rub all this, then what I write next will be clearly visible. So you'll have to patiently wait for this sort again. So that is what we have seen. Now we have this, okay, the final part of the domain name, also called the top level domain, which is called the top level domain. the final part, that is TLD, top level domain. So some of them are written the type of abbreviation, and you can have a list. Sorry. You have .com, which is definitely a business or a commercial organization. You have which is org, which is a non-profit organization. You have .edu. So when you have .edu, an educational establishment. Similarly, if you have .gov, it is government service. Okay. That is what you have, and then whatever it is contains the domain name. So in the link, remember, you should have the HTTP www. The domain name, the domain type. So you have to do this in order to write up email properly. In order to write an email clearly, you must do this. Okay, so this is one thing which I wanted to tell you. Now, basically, what is a website? If it's asked in the MCQ, what is a website? It is nothing but a collection of web pages. Website is nothing but a collection of web pages. It has its own home page. Remember, it has its own page. So first is web page, second is its own page. It can be accessed by URL. What do you mean by its own special URL? It is called Uniform Research Locator. Uniform Research Locator. It can be accessed through this, and it also can be accessed by clicking on the hyperlink. So it can be accessed through the URL Uniform Research Locator. The expansion of it could be asked. That's the reason why I did this. Excuse me. It can also be accessed by its own hyperlink locator. So website is a collection of web pages. It also includes its homepage. It has the URL. Ultimately, you can locate it either through the URL, or you can go to the hyperlink and go directly. So this is about web page. This is about certain important things that you have to keep in mind while writing an email and while sending it to them. So this is something that is extremely essential that you have to remember. So go home and then see to it that you practice it. Okay, so now the next one is Remember, you have blogs. They have asked what a blog is. That's the reason why I thought I should do all this to you. So you have been asked blog. Blog is a short form of weblog. Beautiful. Blog is a short form weblog. So blog is the short form of the weblog, and then it refers to a website again. But this time there may be something different. It may be maintained alone. It may be maintained alone, okay, or a social organization or a group corporate. It can be alone or a group. Okay, and then you can update it. Naturally, there are two kinds of blogs. One is personal, one is corporate. So blog is a short form of weblog. Weblog, not long. Weblog. And then what is it is, it refers to a website maintained by the group alone or by the entire group acting as a team alone. You can also update on the other wherever it is desirable. You have two types of blog, the personal blog and the external corporate blog. Personal blog and corporate blog. So this is so much so about blogs. I'm just touching, literally touching, skimming through the surface and then trying to soar high on purpose, because if at all I had to teach it in detail, things would not have helped. Secondly, it's exam approaching. So I, as a teacher, should tell you what to remember. So blog is very simple. Blog is type of weblog. You use the your website address as URL, that is uniform research locator, depending upon you who has owned the website. And then we also see to it is either used for alone or for groups, or it happens everywhere. This is so much so for blog. Now, personal blog is nothing but where you maintain your own information or something like that. Basically, blog is literally nothing but a diary written online. It's a diary which is online, can be updated at any time. Blog is a type of an online program. True, false, true and false, none of the above. It is false. It is definitely false. So that is the thing. Now I have told you about email. Now you know very well, online has become the order of the day. Wherever you go, it is online. Secondly, people do prefer the comfort of the house rather than walking out the house and teaching. And there is a lot of, no doubt, responsibility on you, because it is much more difficult to convey than what it was to convey when you are physically present. That is the idea. But then we have to change to circumstances. Change is the order. Change is progress. Change is growth. Remember that. Okay. So naturally, since we are doing online work, we are teaching you online, there should be an element of supervision. See how supervision is done even at that level itself. Unlike what we think, oh, online class, no problem. Today also I had class, no problem. But you have just logged in and kept it shut, and here you have a book to read. A book could be very nice because it gives you the company that you time want, but otherwise a book can also become a bane, especially right before exams. So you would get Kate different story books. You would get different story books. So when you get different story books, what happens is here we come across this sort of writing. So here, uh, what is a supervision? So I told you we have to supervise, and you have lot of things on the online, lot of things on the online. Okay, there are organizations which help you to supervise. The first one is called National Science Foundation. National Science Foundation. Now the second one is called Internet Engineering Task Force. Now, the third one is called Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Number. Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Number. Names and number. Then you also have Internet's governance form. Ample, you have ample. Internet's governance form. So you have National Science Foundation, National Science Foundation, the very one, Internet Engineering Task Force you have. Then you have ICANANN, that is Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. You have Internet's Governance Form, IGF, that is also there. You have Internet Network Information Center, Internet Network Information Center you have, and it is also called the NIC. This is also called the NIC. Then you have Internet Architecture Road. So these almost, I must say, 6 names you should remember, because this again could be asked for MCQ. So remember, you have 6 of them and you can be asked for MCQ, and it would be pretty confusing because even no doubt that so many names are there, you will have to remember the National Science Foundation, the Internet Engineering Task Force, the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Number, you have the Internet's governance forums, you have the Internet Network Information, and then lastly you have Internet Architecture Road. All this is there. Yes, this is what I thought I should tell you. You have memos. In the office, even you become the company secretary, you will realize the amount of memos that you shall be sending. Now, when you send those memos, everyone should see to it that they sign and acknowledge, or at least the signature should be available. Now, initially, people might take you for a ride, but if you don't, it will be real. They will understand what it is. So, what happens is memo format. So, memo is what? So, and then remember, when you issue a memo, check that everybody signs. So, check that it is passed on to everybody. So, when it is passed on to everybody, take care, everybody signs. The numbers are given there. So against the number, they should sign. Otherwise, some people will say, oh, I didn't receive it all. Where is it? People taking for a ride is very, very common in every place. So you should remember that you have to learn what is a memo. Now, in the memo, the tone is absolutely serious. Actually, the two is serious. And then from and to are always used in a memo. And then it should not be too formal, not too informal. Who is going to read the memo? The subject matter and the company style. Each company is unique. Each company is different. If you argue, oh, I have worked for 14 years as a CS executive in company A, so my experience should be sufficient enough to run your company. No. Each company has a set of its own rules and policies. You will have to know them before you really join there and take a decision whether you want to leave or not. So what happens here is you will have to have a proper memo. So when you have a proper memo written, so this memo contains certain important things to be done. So who is going to read the memo? The style of the memo, and therefore the subject matter of the memo. Now, for what purpose it is used? Okay, memo. Okay, who is going to read? Subject matter, and then the style. Each company is new. You cannot take it for granted. Oh, I know that, so I'll use it. No way. When you go to a new company, it is a new experience altogether. So you will have to learn. No matter you may have a rich experience of 10 years as a CS in a company, and then after that you shift off to some other company, still you will have to find out what's the style followed. That is the thing. So to be really very cautious, and memo is something that it is there. It is used for internal communication. Remember, yesterday I used this term internal communication. So it is used for internal communication between executives and subordinates, or between the officers of the same level. Same level is extremely important. And then what is the purpose for which it is used? You use it to communicate policy matters. It can be used to communicate policy matters. It could be a change or whatever it is, to give suggestions. To give suggestions, you use it. And then reminding Please submit all this on time. It is essential. The date is coming. Requesting for help are getting some kind of information. Those of you who know the information to this thing, come and complete, to issue instructions. Please report to the office at this time, all of you, something like that. And then you have seek explanation. This is a very strong thing. Be very careful of this, and to intimate some granting or holding of permission. Okay, to intimate granting or withholding permission to do something. So it is literally saying permitting or not permitting you to do EFGH, you confirm the decision which you have arrived at. So this memo is very important. So memo can be is something that is used as an internal communication between the head and his subordinates, or between the officers of the same level. And then it's internal. So memo is to who is going to read the memo, what is the subject matter of the memo, and what style the company requires. Excuse me. And then you also have the purpose of the memo. It is regarding the policy changes. It is regarding giving suggestions. It could be reminding you to send certain things. It could be requesting for help. It could be issuing instructions. It could be seeking explanation. It's permitting you or not permitting you to do something. It's also confirm about the decision made. If it is seek explanation, it probably goes to the concerned people only. Nobody likes to receive a memo during his tenure in whichever office he or she is working. So this is about the memo. The memo is something that it is utilized for this kind of work. Now there is a difference, and then in a memo, there are certain important things to be noted. You have to be brief and the tone should be appropriate. So when you mean to say tone, the language used should be appropriate. This plays a great role in the system, the whole thing. And then do not give too many things in the memo, preferably only one. Now, this is the purpose for the memo. You cannot put all this together in one memo. No way. Please be cautious that it has to be given for certain things only. So today I did a comprehension passage. I revised with you the do's and don'ts of email. I also went to the internet, http www.indiatoday.com, told you what it is. Now I've also touched the memo. So that is what I have done within you. So this is something that I really wanted to teach you and tell you about this. I've also done about the supervision and the standardization. And then I've also told you about how you're not supposed to use what is known as abbreviations too. So this is the thing that I wanted to do. Yes, let me move on. Okay, now with this, a little of the business communication that I've done, since it involves too much of explanation, let's do some common foreign abbreviations. Now, this foreign words and phrases that are used in correspondence is also there for you. And then questions are asked about it. Now, all these are just 1 mark questions. And then if we say, fine, this is difficult, just 1 mark drops down at the drop of a hat. So why should we leave it like that? Let us try to get even that mark, so that even 1 mark makes a difference. So that I'm planning to do now. Okay. Some common foreign words and phrases. Oh no. Okay. Oh God. Sorry. So some common foreign some common foreign words that are used in the day-to-day language by us. Okay, so now there are some things which are very common. I'll pick up a few only. Addenda. Now, naturally, it is Latin word. It is nothing but addenda means list of additions. List of additions. Addenda. List of additions. It is there. Anti-meridian. Anti-meridium, which is again Latin, is before known. Anti means before, so before known. So you have AM over here. Naturally, because of this, you have the post meridium, which is after known. Ad hoc. This is something which you commonly use, I know. Ad hoc. He was appointed on ad hoc basis. So ad hoc is something that is again a Latin word. It's a body which is appointed for a specific purpose, and it need not remain permanently. Suddenly there is an issue that is brought about by you in the company. So when that is the case, you will appoint ad hoc committees. So you will appoint ad hoc committees in order to discuss this. And once the matter is finished, the ad hoc committees no longer plays any kind of role. Now you have bon voyage. Oh Lord. You have bon voyage. This you must have been telling also, which is saying have a good journey. Bon voyage, have a good journey. So addenda, list of additions. Anti-meridian, before known. Post-meridian, after known. Ad hoc, committee is organized to look up into certain issues. Special committee, and it will not be permanent. Bon voyage, have a good journey. So this is the certain things that it is definitely helpful. Now, the next one. Please remember these meanings are asked. Addenda means 4 choices are given. So these meanings are asked. At least if you cannot read from the textbook, at least listen whatever. And then I should also admit very clearly, I will not be able to do everything for you, because it is something that has to be read. And I can also understand it's highly impossible that you remember everything too. So something which I feel and I personally think it is important, that thing I'm including. So you have bonafides. Now, bona fide is again a Latin word, good faith. Bona fides is again a Latin word, which means good faith. You establish a good faith, that is, you can be entrusted, which is something really very, very important. And then now here you have bona fide, you also have bona fides, here you also have bona fide. There is a difference here, only genuine members, bona fide here, genuine. Only genuine members will be attended, will be allowed to attend for the meeting. So this you should know. De facto, this is also something that you have commonly heard. De facto is actually L from Latin word. So de facto means in reality, actual. In reality, which also means actual. De jure, which is again a Latin word, which means by the law, that is from the law, your right. I have the right. So it is de jure. You also have nothing but detent, detent with the stress here. And it's again a Latin word, which means easing of strained relations. Easing of strained relations, especially between two countries. Two countries. So if I've taught you, if you reverse, recapitulate addenda, which is a Latin word. Addenda is nothing but list of additions. Ad hoc is a company formed for a special purpose. It could be only for a short time. Anti-meridian, post-meridian, you're already aware of. Now, bon voyage is wishing somebody good journey. Bona fides, good day faith that you have, and one has to establish one's bona fides with the company. Bona fide, only real or not real means genuine members are allowed to attend the meeting. De facto, it also means in reality. De jure means from the law. Dead end means easing of strained relations among the countries. So this you should be very, very sure. This you should be very, very this thing. So next one. Okay, this you have. You also have what is known as foxpass. This has been asked. I remember it seeing in it. Now, foxpass is from French. It's from French. It means a social blunder. It means a social blunder, foxpass. So, etc. It means cetera. CETERA. So which we commonly use, and it's again from Latin, which means and the rest. And the rest. Okay, you have ex officio. You have ex officio, which is again from Latin, by virtue of the person's status. Ex officio is this thing. And then en masse. En masse. En masse is again from French, which means altogether. So these are the various things that you have. Entrepreneur, which is French, and again, a person who takes up a business taking a great financial risk. Entrepreneur. So this is also French. So foxpass, etc., ex officio, and then by virtue of the person's status, it means en masse, entrepreneur. You have bonafides, you have bonafide, you have de facto, de jure, you have detent, you have addenda, you also have bon voyage, you also have this thing. The other one is ad hoc committee, you have anti-meridian, you have also post-meridian. I will also include some more which may be asked for you because it is important in my tomorrow's class. So if you recapitulate in today's class, I did the comprehension, and then tomorrow probably will be the last comprehension, because from next week I shall start taking up the papers comprehension. So tomorrow comprehension that I did, I taught you about the tips of email writing. I also taught you about the memo. I also taught you about the various supervising agencies that are there. Then I also taught you about the do's and don'ts of an email. I taught you about the memo, the do's and don'ts of a memo. And then I even told you about one more thing that I remember, these abbreviations. I did tell you how to answer an email is something that I told you. Yes, that is what I wanted to tell, and I think this I've done. Yes, I have to cover something called memorandum and a management information system that I have to cover. So probably I'll be taking that tomorrow. In case that is a little too much for me tomorrow to be covered, then there are chances I may not do a comprehension, or I'll do a small comprehension for you. So the 10 passages have been done throughout. Totally. And with next week classes, so you will know how many passages we have dealt with. So in case you listen to these passages, you will be able to attack the passage very easily. I hope and pray at least that you listen. So it would be of great help that you listen. That is the most important thing. So if you listen, it'll be really wonderful. So I have to do that MIS and memorandum because there are questions on it in your paper. I can't leave it like that, but whatever I taught you yesterday has been asked. And mind you, I might have left out certain more important things, but I will not be able to cover everything. I have tried my level best to encapsulate all that is important. So that's what I have done, considering and going through your papers. In case something more is asked, you will have to read. So whatever best, I hope luck favors you and God favors you, because it is quite vast and you have so many other things to do with that thing in idea. So with that notion in idea, hoping and praying that you people listen to this class and listen to the video, and at least let it fall onto your ears, onto your system, so that you're aware of what you are doing and so that you are not ignorant of what is there in the text. I, Mrs. Meenala Satyamurthy, would take leave from you for today and say bye-bye. Have a very happy afternoon. Good afternoon, and let's meet tomorrow with a hope and a note that, yes, I can do it. I shall do it. I will do it. See you. Bye-bye.